Good morning. Welcome to chair yoga. This little yoga sequence is going to last about 45 minutes. It'll be similar to my first one, but with some variations that I hope you will enjoy. Let's start out in our seated resting position. For you, that could be all the way back in your chair, leaning back, closing your eyes, relaxing those shoulders back and down. Breathing good deep breaths. In and out through the nose, if possible. But if not, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good relaxing breaths. Emptying the mind. Letting our outside world slip away, at least for a time. A few more breaths. And then with our next breath, let's let our chin fall gently downward. Feeling that pull in the back of the neck and the top of the back. As we breathe, one more. And then let's slowly lift our face back to center. Let's open our eyes. Let's take our face upward toward the sky. Breathing, relaxing those shoulders. A couple of more breaths, feeling that stretch in the front of the neck and the top of the chest. And with our next breath, let's slowly bring our face once again to center. Now let's take our face to the side as if to look over the shoulder on that side. Feeling the sides of the neck stretch a bit. One more breath. And then let's bring our face back to center again, going in that opposite direction. Feeling that stretch differently, perhaps on this side. It's very common to be stiffer on one side with your neck than the other. Don't worry about that. One more breath. And then let's come back once again to center. If your seat is not already at mid-chair, let's bring it up to mid-chair. Let's line up our feet underneath our knees, our ankles directly underneath our knees, our shoulders relaxed back and down, imagining that our backbone is straight up through the neck and the head. Let's drop our arms down to the side. Let's take them out. Let's reach them up to the top, putting them together, and then drawing them back into center. Again, down, stretch it out, stretch it up, and then come in. Warming up that upper body gently as we begin. Into center. A few more. Stretch it out, stretch it up, coming in. Let's do two more. Out and up, and then into center. And our last time, down, up, and then back to center once again, allowing our hands to come to rest at the tops of our thighs. Again, our shoulders back and down, our feet about hip width apart. This is our default position, we can think of it that way, between our poses. Let's drop one arm down. Let's take it up to the top. Let's reach up, stretch up, look up. Remembering that if looking up is a problem for us, we can always look out over the front of our chair. But stretch that side body a little bit more with each breath. And remember, you can stay here or you can take that arm over the body, making sure that the hips stay grounded, keeping your gaze up if you can or out if you need to. and breathe. One more. And then let's bring that arm back to the top. Let's turn the palm outward and slowly float that arm back down with control, bringing it back to rest at the top of the thigh. Both hands can come down, sweeping them out into the top. Let's once again come to center. We're going to go for that lateral stretch on the other side. So this arm comes down and up, following again with our gaze and stretching. Remembering that you can stay here, just reaching up a little more with each breath, or coming over the body again, feeling the stretch in those oblique muscles. Breathing. Don't forget that part. It's so important. And then with the next breath, back up to the top. Let's turn out our palm and let's float back down. Returning that hand to the top of the thigh. Again, both arms down. Let's reach it out. Let's reach it up. Let's stay up. Let's look up if we can. Again, you can look out over the front of the chair if that's your choice. But stretch that body up. Separate those vertebrae. Breathe. Lift. Another breath. You can stay here if you choose, or widen the arms and arch the back into a slight back bend. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, come back to vertical. But continue to breathe whatever position you're in. And now, with the next breath, bring your body back up to vertical. Put your hands together at the top. Let's make steeple fingers. That's index fingers pointing up. The rest of the fingers are clasped. Let's lift the body and let's sway over to the side. Using the weight of that second arm to increase our oblique stretch. One more. Remembering if you ever need to, you can always come back to vertical. This causes pain. Let's come back now to vertical. And let's go that opposite way, swaying to the other side. If holding your arms up causes you difficulty, float those arms down and just continue to breathe. One more breath. And then let's come back up to the top. Let's separate our hands and turn out the palms. And again, slowly float those arms down, bringing them back into rest at the tops of the thighs. Let's come out with our seat to the front of our chair. Let's relax our shoulders back and down, and let's extend one arm out to the front, and let's rotate that hand at the wrist. As we breathe, trying always to have good posture, let's rotate. Now let's reverse that rotation to come the other way. Loosening up those wrist joints, warming that lower part of the body, or the upper part in this case, the forearm. A couple more turns, and then let's bring that hand back down to the top of the thigh. Let's go to the other side, extending the arm and rotating at the wrist. Getting our blood going a little more, specifically in these joints. A couple more turns this way, and then let's come back the other way. 2 more turns, and then let's bring that hand back down to the top of the thigh. Now let's extend both arms out. Let's rotate at the wrist. Breathing always, our good breaths. Sometimes we get so involved in the movement. Let's reverse. We get so involved in the movement we forget to breathe. We don't want to do that. It's easy to do. A couple more breaths, and then let's expand. Now you make it up. You can do whatever you like. Your arms can go together. They can go different. Just windmill, just sort of a more extravagant move or two. A few more, and then let's bring our hands back in to rest at the top of the thigh. Now coming out a little further, if you're not already out to the edge of your chair, let's put one of our feet out in front. And I have my heel to the floor. I'm going to raise up my foot, and I'm going to rotate at the ankle. again, just like we warmed up the upper body, we're going to do the same here with our lower body. Let's reverse, come back the other way. And then a couple more turns, and then that foot comes back down parallel to its match. Heel of the other foot comes out, and it lifts up, and we rotate again. Breathing, relaxing those shoulders, reminding them not to creep up on us. Let's reverse. Couple more turns, and then let's bring that foot back down to the floor. Now let's take that foot we were just working with, and let's put the heel out to the side. Let's flex the foot with the heel on the floor, so a flex position, my toe is pulling back toward me, and my heel is pushing out, okay? I'm sitting up and I'm breathing, good straight back, shoulders back and down. With the next breath, pick up the foot and point it. Put the heel back down, but now feel that stretch in the top of the foot. Another breath, and then let's flex the foot again. Heel out, toe up, or toe pulling back toward us. With the next breath, let's do one more point. And then with the next breath, let's do a flex. Let's take 2 breaths here. Last one. And let's bring that foot in parallel to the other. Now we're going to go to the other side. So the foot comes out, heel to the floor, pushing the heel out, pulling the toe back. Now when you do that, you might feel a stretch in your calf muscle. That's where you're supposed to feel it. Depending on how much you use your calf muscles and so forth, you'll feel it differently. With the next breath, let's point. So heel back down to the floor, toe pointing out like a ballerina, stretching the top of the foot. Once again, let's flex the foot, pull the toe back towards us, stretch that calf. And then our last point. And with the next breath, our last flex. Let's take 2 breaths here. Good deep breath, one more. And then let's bring that foot back in parallel to the other. Let's take our feet into our butterfly position. Remember, you're laying your feet on the sides with the soles together. If my hands were my feet and my palms were my soles, your feet, the goal is to have them this way. But you may only have them this way. You have to work on that flexibility over time. But you can work your seat out to the edge of the chair to where your hip flexors open, your knees fall out to the side, your hands rest at mid-thigh. Take a good breath here. And with the next breath, drop in that chin. Keeping the back straight. Breathe. Don't force your head down, just let it happen. Couple more breaths. Last one. And with that next breath, let's lift our face back up to center. Let's take a breath there. Let's bring one of our feet to the floor. Let's follow with the other. And then let's step out to the side and let's get up out of our chair. Coming around to the back of the chair. I'm going to shift my chair a little closer so that you can see what I'm doing in the back of it. And I'll have room to do it. We're going to go into our downward dog. So in our downward dog, our hands are on the chair, but we step back about 3 feet or so. With our feet parallel, we bend our knees, slight bend. We hinge from the hips, lowering the body down with a flat back, ears between elbows. Breathing good breaths, pushing that weight way back. Now, your weight is distributed over your knees and your ankles and your feet, and your arms really are just balancing you. Enjoy that stretch in the lower back. maybe in the back of the legs, in the hips, keeping that slight bend in the knee to protect the knee joints. Another couple of breaths. Last one. And with the next breath, let's do a deep knee bend, and then let's straighten. Once again, a deep knee bend, and then let's straighten. Last time, a deep knee bend, and then let's straighten. And with the next breath, let's slowly come back up to the back of the chair to a vertical position behind the chair. Standing here, let's put our hands down and come into our mountain pose. Your hands rest gently at the side of the body. Palms can be outward or inward, but relax the body. Pull in that core, tuck under that posterior. Eyes can be open or closed. If you have a little bit of a balance issue, remember you can lay your hand on the chair and close your eyes, and you'll have that feeling of stability. Alternatively, you can take your hand off the chair, keep your eyes open, and just breathe. With the next breath, let's grip the earth within our shoes with our toes. So we're clenching our toes as if to grab that earth beneath us. With the next breath, let's relax the feet. Once again, let's grip the floor with our toes inside our shoes. And then let's relax our feet within the shoes. Last time, let's breathe and let's grip the floor. Crunching up those toes, breathing, and then relaxing. Let's take our hands back to the back of the chair. Let's take one of our hands and sweep it out and turn our body so that we are sideways to the chair. We're going to do a little lower body work. I'm going to take this back hand and spread the fingers and extend it out to the side of my body at about a 45-degree angle. It's going to look at about this angle, but I'm sideways. Okay, standing up straight and tall, let's lift that leg that's closest to the chair up with a flexed foot. Now the goal is to get that thigh up to parallel to the floor, but if you're not there yet, that's okay. Let's breathe. One more breath. Fingers still engaged on that back hand. And then let's let the toe drop down first, and let's take that foot down to the floor, parallel to the other. Relaxing the arms and the legs. Let's march in place, alternating, raising the heels, coming up on the toes, breathing good breaths. And then let's settle. Let's put our hand out again at the back, 45 degrees to the body, standing up nice and straight. Once again, let's lift that leg closest to the chair up. Let's take a good breath here. And then let's drop the toe, and let's take it down slowly and tap the floor. Then let's pull that leg back up with a flex foot. Once again, drop that toe and take it down to the floor. And then bring that foot back up in a flex position. Last time, drop the toe down to the floor slowly, tap it and lift, and let's hold. You're going to feel some tension building in that thigh. Put your foot down if you need to, but continue to breathe. You never want pain, just a good stretch, a good feeling of use. One more breath. Then drop that toe and slowly return that foot to the floor. Let's march it out. Shaking that back hand if you want to. Breathing a couple of good breaths here. Then settling and slowly bringing yourself back to the chair. Let's step back into our down dog. Pushing that weight back, feet about 3 feet or so from the chair. Depends on how tall and how long your arms are, but you find the right distance from the chair for you. Feel free to move your feet up or move them back, but keep the knees slightly bent. Push the weight back. Flat back, ears between elbows. One more good deep breath. And then let's do a deep knee bend, and let's straighten, and let's step back up to the chair. You know, in yoga, we always do the same thing, one side to the other. So let's sweep out. Let's face in that opposite direction. So back arms, fingers spread out from the body, hands on the chair, front hand. Let's lift that front leg up. Let's breathe. The foot is in flex position. One more breath. And then let's drop the toe and take that foot back down to the floor. Let's march it out just as we did on the other side. Breathing, alternating feet, heels up, toes on the floor. Now let's settle back down. Feet are parallel. Hand is on the chair, that front hand, back hand, fingers are engaged, keeping the arm muscles engaged as well. Let's once again lift that front leg up. Good deep breath, and then let's lower the toe and slowly take that toe down and tap the floor, and then lift back up. Toe comes down, slowly take it down and tap the floor, and then lift back up. Last time, take the toe down, slowly lower, touch the floor, and then lift. And breathe here for a couple of breaths if you can. Feeling maybe a little quivering in the top of that thigh. One more breath. And then lower the toe and slowly put that foot back down to the floor. Let's march it out. And then let's settle. Let's bring our body back to the front. Let's step back and once again into our downward dog. Hinging from the hips, lowering the torso down. You're looking at a midpoint between the legs of the chair and your toes. And you're breathing, restoring oxygen to the body. Feeling that nice stretch. Couple more breaths. Last one. And then let's do a deep knee bend and let's straighten. Let's step back up slowly to the back of the chair, coming up, and then coming around and having a seat in our chair at about mid-chair. Once again, lining up the feet, parallel, ankles underneath knees, shoulders back and down. We're going to go into our cat and cow stretches. So let's start with our cow by pushing our chest forward, taking our head up, arching our back toward the back of the chair, breathing, and then slowly coming back through a neutral spine and pulling in that core, crouching forward, curving the body forward like a scared cat. Then once again, coming through neutral and into the cow. We're going to do a flow of these cat and cow movements. You're welcome to follow me or follow your own breath. But remember to breathe. Sometimes we get caught up in the movement so much we forget that part, but we don't want to. We'll find ourselves gasping. We don't want that either. So good breaths, couple more. And then whatever pose you're going into now, let's finish that one well. And then slowly return our body to an upright position. Relax those shoulders back and down. Open the eyes if you've had them closed, and take a good deep breath in. And let's exhale that breath out. Let's take our arms down. Let's sweep them up to the top. Let's come in to heart center. Once again, arms down, up to the top, and then into heart center. Our last time, down, up, and in. This time, extend those arms to the front. Take them apart, back of the hands together. Sweep the arms out and back, pushing the palms in towards one another. This should feel like your shoulder blades are trying to touch one another. Don't lean forward. It's a tendency to do this, but try to sit up as straight as you can, keeping that spine in alignment up through the neck and the head. Pushing the palms together. Fingers are spread wide, engaging the hands and the arms in that movement. Breathing, pushing. Holding that beach ball, that imaginary beach ball that hovers just inches off the floor by pressing those palms together. One more breath. And then let's let the hands come down. Let's shake them out. Let's bring them back to the tops of the thighs. Let's roll our shoulders back. Ooh, that feels good. Loosening some of that tension that built up. And then let's settle. And then let's go into our warrior pose. But first, our arms come down. They come up to the top. They come into the center. And then we place our hands on thighs. Stepping out to the side, let's rearrange our hips. So we have a hip on and a hip off. One arm on the back of the chair, one arm at the front of the chair. Our leg making that 90-degree angle with the toe, top of our toe to the floor. Our front arm rests at the side of the body. We're going to take our arm out, that front arm, follow it with our gaze, lift it up overhead, reach for the sky. Look up if you can or out over the side of the chair if you need to. But remember to stretch and to breathe and to lift. You can stay here if you choose, or if you like, you can take that front leg, that front toe, and place it out a little further behind you. Straightening out that leg just to where you feel a nice stretch, no pain, and then lift the body a little higher on the side. Lift that hand a little higher. Now you'll feel the stretch in the whole side body. Breathing, stretching. It's okay to stay here and to breathe, or to lower that arm at any point if you have pain. You don't want pain, just a good stretch. If you want that bit of extra, you can arch the back and take that arm back over the head. Breathing, knowing that at any time you can come back up to vertical, you can float that arm down. Couple more breaths. Last one. And then let's bring that arm back up to the top. Let's turn that palm outward. Let's float that arm down as we slowly draw that leg in to meet it. And then let's scoot back into our chair all the way to the back edge. Good stable seat, feet about hip width apart. Bring the hands to heart center in the prayer position. And with the next breath, let's twist our body back toward the back of the chair. A good spinal twist. Keeping that spine in good shape. One more breath. And then let's bring our body back to facing sideways. Let's take our hands down to the tops of the thighs. Let's step that front leg to the front. Bring that back leg around to match it, coming back to our facing forward position. Let's drop our arms down, come up to the top, and come into the center. We're going to the other side. So hands down, let's step out. Let's rearrange hips. You have to have this hip that's on the leg close to the front of the chair in order to have that mobility in the front leg. So your back arm's here on the back of the chair, your front arm comes to the side. The toe of my foot here top of my toe is on the ground. Sit up straight and look out over the side as you breathe. And with the next breath, let's bring that arm out from the body. Follow it with our gaze up to the top. Look up, stretch up, breathe. Stay here if you choose. Continuing to breathe, to lift a little more with each stretch. Or, if you'd like, take the toe of that front leg and pick it up and take it out behind you a bit. Readjusting the hips to allow that front leg to stretch out behind you with ease, no pain. Then lift that arm up higher. Breathing and stretching the body, the entire side body. Stay here if it's your choice, or add the back bend. Knowing if you need to, you can always come up out of it. Breathing. One more. And with the next breath, let's bring our body, or our arm rather, back to vertical. Let's turn the palm out. Let's slowly float the arm down with control as we draw the leg in to meet it. Sideways again in our chair. Let's scoot back, feet at hip width, hands at heart center. Good breath, and then let's twist. A good spinal twist to keep our spines healthy and flexible. One more breath. And with that next breath, let's bring our body back, facing sideways. Let's take our hands down to the tops of the thighs. Let's step forward with that front leg, followed with that back. Facing forward once again. Dropping our arms down. Let's come up to the top. Let's come into the center. Let's move our seat out to the front edge of the chair, and let's find our butterfly once again. So palms, or soles rather, of the feet come together. Hip flexors, readjust them until you feel these hip flexor joints here open up, knees fall out. Hands rest at center, thigh. Shoulders back and down. Good straight back. Drop in that chin. And breathe. Couple of more breaths. Last one. And let's pull those hands up to the tops of the thighs. Let's tuck those elbows into the sides of the body. Let's point the elbows toward the back of the chair, squeezing those shoulder blades together in the process. Let's breathe a few more breaths here. Feel that stretch in the top of your chest between your shoulders in the front. Let's try one more breath. And then with the next breath, slowly lift the face. Back up to center. Let's allow our palms to slide down toward our knees and relax those shoulders. Let's put one foot to the floor, then the other. Let's step out and get up once again. Coming around to the back of the chair, we're going to get on our downward dog with the leg lift. I'm going to turn my chair sideways for this. You may want to also to see the movement more clearly. It doesn't have to necessarily be sideways. We're starting with our regular down dog, so that is chairs out in front. We step back, parallel feet, slightly bent knees, and we hinge from the hips, pushing the weight back. Now you may be closer or further from the chair than I am because of your height or because of your arm length. But get where you feel comfortable and remember to keep those knees soft. So we're breathing and enjoying this down dog stretch. It always feels good to me in my lower back, but we all feel it differently. Couple more breaths. Last one. Then let's do a deep knee bend and let's straighten. Let's establish our weight primarily on our left leg with a slight bend in that left knee. Let's take that right leg out behind us, toe to the floor, keeping the knee bent on the left side. Now if this feels good, stay here. If it doesn't, go back to your regular downward dog and just do some knee bends and some deep breathing. But you can stay here with this leg extended, right toe to the floor, and breathe as well. But there is one more step if you'd like to take it. You can lift that leg out behind you, no higher than the hip, breathing, pointing the toe first, and then flexing the foot. Once again, pointing that lifted leg's toe, foot, leg's toe, and then flexing. Last time, let's point that foot, and then let's slowly lower that foot back down to the floor. Bringing that toe and leg, a good breath there, and then bringing it back in to parallel with the other foot. Enjoying that downward dog once again. Getting some oxygen in before we go to the other side. One more breath. Last one. Then let's do that deep knee bend. Let's straighten and let's establish our weight primarily on that right foot with a slight bend in that right knee. Let's take that left leg out behind us, toe to the floor. Staying here if you choose, or returning to regular down dog if you need to. You can breathe. Or with the next breath, lift that leg out behind you, putting that foot into a flex position. Now if that's too much, you can always lower the leg back down, remember. But breathe, and then let's point that lifted foot. Let's flex it one more time. Let's point it. And then let's slowly lower that leg back down to the ground. Take a breath here with the leg extended behind you. And with the next breath, bring the foot in parallel to the other, and then fall back into your just regular modified downward dog. Breathing. Couple more breaths. Last one. And then a deep knee bend. And then let's straighten. And let's step back up, coming up right behind our chair. Turning back forward if you like for the remainder of our practice today. Standing behind our chair with our hands resting there. Let's take our hands down to the side and bring them up to the top with the palms coming together. And then let's take them apart and float those arms back down. Let's do a little flow of this. So up to the top, breathing, turn them out and float back down. Let's do a few more of these, a nice flow. Up to the top, turn out and float back down. Again. Down. Let's do two more. Up to the top and then down. This will be our last time. Let's stop at the top. Let's put our hands together, clasping them. Let's make steeple fingers with our index fingers pointing up, and then let's sway over to the side. Breathing. And then let's come back up to the top. And let's go the other way. Once again, let's come back up to the top Let's take our hands apart and float them back down. This time, bringing them back around to the back of our hips, clasping them loosely behind us. Interlacing our fingers. With our next breath, we're going to lift those arms out and away from our body. So it looks sort of like this behind you. You may only be here, or you may be way up. Well, I'll be somewhere in this range. But you're trying to lift your arms back out away from your body and keep your body upright while doing so. Tendency is to lean forward to get your arms to go up more, but we want to try to stand up straight. Let's relax those arms. Let's take a good deep breath here. And then let's repeat. Straighten the arms and lift them away from the hips. Trying to remember that it's not so much about how far you can lift your arms up. That might come with time. But it's about building your own individual flexibility. Let's relax those arms down. Taking a breath. And then last time, let's straighten the arms and lift them out away from the body. Breathing. And then relaxing back down. Let's let our arms come down. Come up to the top. Come into heart center. Bring the hands back to the chair. Let's step around and have a seat at mid-chair. Going into some cool down exercises. So I'm setting it about mid-chair, making sure I'm on level ground. And I'm going to step out and grab my ball. Now, today I happen to have a real ball. But if I didn't, I could always take this shirt off here. Luckily, I have another one underneath. And I can wad this up and use it as my ball. Perfectly fine for all the things we're going to do. But since I have a real one, I think I'll use it today. So hold that ball in both hands, cradling it lightly at the top of the knees. Good deep breath. And let's extend the ball out at chest height. Let's turn it slightly from side to side. As we breathe, a little gentle cool down for the shoulders and the arms. Couple more. And then let's bring that ball down to the knees. Let's pull it into the body and let's roll our shoulders back a few times, loosening that tension that's always in the shoulders of most of us. Let's roll forward if we can. Let's try rolling back one shoulder at a time and then reversing that, coming forward another shoulder at a time. And then let's settle. Taking the ball in one hand, spreading our hand and fingers wide, we can take it down to the side, stretch it out, take it up over the body, and allow it to fall on the opposite side of the head at the ear level. And you may not be all the way over yet. You may not be able to get your arm all the way up. But as long as it doesn't cause you pain, whatever position you're in is a good one. Feel free to take the arm down when you need to. Then with the next breath, the ball can come back to the top and then come down, and we'll switch it over. Down on this side, out, up, and over. Let's breathe. One more. And then let's bring that ball back to the top, and let's bring it back down into our lap. Now, let's take the ball and put it behind us on the chair. If you don't have an open back chair, you can scoot back in your chair and press back and roll from side to side. Now this is something that some of us' favorite part. You may not be able to do it depending on the chair you've got, and certainly a shirt is not ideal for providing pressure. But if you have a ball, you can try it anytime in a chair in the house. Eventually, we have to stop though and reach back and get that ball, bring it up, step out so we have a nice wide base, and then place it out of the way and under our chair. Coming back up to about mid-chair with our feet. with our seat and our feet lined up underneath. Now, I have a belt today, and if you have a belt, that's great. This happens to be a yoga belt, but you can use a scarf, or you can actually use a belt, for pants. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but this is what I had today. And I've got it folded over. It's a cloth belt, so it doesn't stretch. I'm going to grip it with my hands and rest at the top of my knees. Now, if my feet are about hip width apart, that's a good spacing. So I'm going to lift up to chest height, and I'm just going to hold, and I'm going to breathe. Good breaths, just with the arms extended. Couple more. Last one. And then I'm going to lower the hands to the knees, pull in the arms, and roll it out. Now we're going to take our hands out to the tops of the knees again and get in our raising and lowering of the band with inhales and exhalations of breath. So let's inhale and let's lift. Up as high as that breath will go with us, and then lower just as slowly back down if we can. Now, if this causes pain, don't do it. Or don't go as high. We never want pain, but we're inhaling and we're exhaling as we come down. Some of us might get up higher than others, but just breathe. Let's do one more. Lifting on that inhale, lowering on that exhale. And once you're down, pull it into the body. Let's take the band, let's bunch it up. Let's step out again to the side. Let's place it underneath the chair and come back with our seat out to the front of the chair, because we're going to get in our seated pigeon. So lining up those feet as parallel to one another and ankles underneath knees. Sitting up good and tall, we're going to cross one ankle over the other. Now once that happens, you might need to readjust your seat to get the hip flexor to open so that knee comes out. If you have knee issues, you may leave that ankle at the floor. It doesn't have to come up, but if your body allows, you can bring that ankle to the top of the knee, place a hand there on the ankle. Take the other hand at the top of the knee, grow taller, and then hinge forward with a straight back. It's not important how far you go. In fact, you may not go very far before you feel a stretch in that hip flexor joint, in the side of that thigh. You never want pain, so if you have it, come up out of it. Breathe. Breathe regardless, of course. A couple more breaths. And with the next breath, tighten the core and use those muscles to slowly lift the body back up to vertical. And once there, take a good deep breath. Relax those shoulders and take that ankle back down to the floor. Let's go to the other side. So the ankle crosses over. Readjust the seat bones, allow that knee to fall out. Draw the ankle up to the top of the knee if it allows. Remember, you can always put it back down. Place hands on knee and ankle. Grow taller and hinge forward. You may notice that on one side, your hip is screaming the stretch. On the other side, there's nothing. That's very typical. It is, in fact, my experience. One more breath. Feel that stretch. I need it. So do you. And then again, tightening that core, we lift. Back up to vertical. And then the ankle comes off of the knee, the foot comes back down to the floor. Coming back to sitting at about mid-chair, I've lined my feet up at hip width apart, shoulders back and down, ankles under knees. I'm going to take this hand and lay it on the side of the chair. I'm going to take this hand and lay it on the side of my knee. I'm going to grow taller, and I'm going to twist to the side. And as I breathe, I'm going to drop in my chin, noticing that this stretch feels different with my body twisted. With the next breath, I'm going to bring my head back to level and breathe. And with the next breath, I'm taking my face up toward the sky as I breathe. With the next breath, the face comes back to level. And then I'm going to bring back my body and hands to forward facing. We're going to do it all on the other side now. So this hand comes to the side of the chair. This hand comes to the side of the knee. I'm going to grow taller, and I'm going to twist my body. Dropping in the chin, let's take a breath. With the next breath, let's lift to level and breathe. And then let's look upward toward the sky. With that next breath, bringing the face back down to level. And with our next breath, bringing everything back to the front. Good deep breath here. Let's drop our arms down. Let's bring them up to the top. Let's come into center. It's time for our seated resting position, our favorite time of the day. You can either stay upright as I am, or you can scoot back in your chair if you like. Some people like to scoot back and put their feet apart. Lean back. Close your eyes. Breathe and feel really good about what you did today. How you've calmed your mind, how you've stretched your body. Continue those good deep breaths. I'll let you know when it's time to come back. With your next breath, allow your chin to fall gently downward and breathe. A couple more. And then let's let our head roll over toward one shoulder, slowly, feeling that stretch in the side of the neck. And then let the head fall back down to center and gently roll in that opposite direction, allowing the head to become a pendulum that swings very slowly side to side. A couple more. And then let's let our head fall back gently to center chest and take a couple of breaths there. Last one. And with the next breath, slowly lift our face back up to center, open our eyes, and take our face upward to the sky. Breathing. Relaxing the shoulders. And with the next breath, bringing our face once again back to center. Let's tilt our head to one side, feeling that stretch in the side of the neck as we breathe. And then let's come back to vertical. Let's try going that opposite way. Breathing, stretching gently. And then coming back up to the top. Let's end our practice today, as we always do, with 3 good deep breaths. Our arms come down, we stretch way out, we come all the way to the top, and then into our center. Again, down, out, up, and in. And our last time, down, stretch it out, stretch it up, and then into center. Namaste. Thank you so much.